didn't want to know the truth. You had the chance to know who your master and your Lord is, your Rabb. You had a chance to know who Allah is. And Allah gives us a lot of details about Himself in the Quran and the Sunnah, which we mentioned before. If we want to know the unseen realities about Allah, Allah has revealed many of these unseen realities. The 99 names that we love to say, and the Quran that we say that has so many of His attributes, and that has so many of His powers, and so many of His beauty, of His qualities of beauty. And the Sunnah, how Rasulullah tells us so much about who is Allah and what is He like. And so this person didn't want to know Allah, but he could have if he wanted to. He had the chance, but he didn't do it. And this person had a chance to know Islam, and to live Islam, and to follow the way of Rasulullah and to live in that lifestyle, but he didn't. And he had a chance to choose Rasulullah as his way of life and as his example. But he didn't do it, and so he can only say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Now after he says, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, and after the pronouncement is made that you have lied, now what happens? Now the grave, instead of becoming big, remember the grave became very big and nice for the good person. And a window to Jannah and everything, and the breeze from Jannah, and the clothes and the gardens and the furniture and everything from Jannah. But now for this person, the wicked person, the grave becomes so small. It becomes smaller than what any of us can fit inside. Even a tiny baby cannot fit inside like a shoebox, like this size thing. How big is this grave? To us, the grave looks like this because we dug it, right? The ones who are still alive, we dug it like this. A person can fit there, But we don't see the unseen. When the grave closes on that person, their ribs go like this. That's how tight it is. Like imagine this person being stuck in a shoebox without himself getting smaller. He's the same size, but the grave squeezes, became smaller. And it hurts so much. And then what does Rasulullah also say? Rasulullah also says that this person is slammed with hammers, metal hammers, until the Day of Judgment. And also there's another narration that says that 70 serpents, 70 snakes are put in the grave of that person. And the breath of one snake is enough to destroy all life on the earth permanently. That's how poisonous one snake of Jahannam is. These snakes are put into the grave, 70 of them, and they're torturing that person. And the animals can hear the torturing of the screams of that person, but we cannot. And Rasulullah said that he said that I was gonna ask Allah to let you, human beings, hear what was going on in the graves. But I decided not to ask Allah that dua. I decided not to ask Him for that, because if He allowed you to hear what's going on in the graves, you would never put another person on the ground. You would stop burying your dead ones, your loved ones who died. So He didn't let us hear He didn't ask that dua, and Allah continues to shield our ears from hearing those sounds. But the animals can hear them. And so this soul is like this until the Day of Judgment. Now, there's also a window open into the grave, showing the place that person is placed in Jahannam. And that person is told, this is your place in Jahannam. And another window is shown into his place that he would have had in Jannah if he was a different person, if he was a good person. And then when he sees that place in Jannah, he becomes so sad. Oh, I could have had that beautiful place. But now I mess it up and I can never redo it. I can never do it over again. And then there's no recovering this fire. It's lost forever. And then the other grave, the other window into Jahannam, this is where he sees this place and he says, oh no, that's where I'm gonna go. And the wind of Jahannam is coming into his grave. And the smoke of Jahannam is coming into his grave. And then he says, Ya Rabb, la taqul sa'ah. Oh Allah, don't bring the Day of Judgment. He wishes the Day of Judgment will never come. But the Day of Judgment is al-waqi'ah. Laysa liwaqa'atiha kadhiba. The Day of Judgment is something that must happen. And when it happens, nobody can push it back. Nobody can escape it. There's nobody every human being that has ever been alive, and the jinns too, we're all going to be in Day of Judgment. Nobody's going to escape. All of the people, whenever you read somebody, whenever you go to social studies class and you read about history, think about when you hear a name of a person in your history book, Muslim or non-Muslim, think about, I wonder what that person is doing now in his grave, or her grave. I wonder what they will be doing on the Day of Judgment. No matter who you read in your history book, they're gonna be there on the Day of Judgment. So don't think that only Muslims are gonna be on the Day of Judgment. Muslims and non-Muslims will all be on the Day of Judgment. Nobody can pass. Just because somebody doesn't believe in the Day of Judgment doesn't mean that they get exempted from it. No, everyone will be there. No matter what historian or what person in history, historical figure you read about, or whatever contemporary world figure you hear about, or whoever you see on the street, all of us are going to be there. لَمْ يُغَادِرْ مِنْهُمْ أَحَدًا. Nobody's going to be absent. So this is the journey of the soul that is not righteous. And it's not even a journey. It's a dead end for this person. So may Allah protect us from the su'ul khatimah, the evil ending. And may Allah grant us the husnul khatimah, the beautiful ending, so that we can be from the righteous souls and not from the wicked souls. Ameen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام وكفى بها نعمة. We praise Allah for guiding us to Islam, and we could not have guided ourselves to Islam if He had not guided us. There's so much beautiful information and knowledge that Allah gave us that we would not know if He had not given it to us. And even if we knew it, we would not be convinced of it unless Allah made us convinced of it. So we thank Allah and we praise Allah for this. And we also praise Allah for this blessing of Islam, which is enough of a blessing. Meaning that if somebody has Islam but they don't have anything that this dunya has to offer, that person has everything that that person needs in this life and the next. But if somebody has everything that this world has to offer, the richest, biggest, most famous person, whatever, but they don't have Islam, that person has absolutely nothing at all in this life or the next life. And so we thank Allah for Islam, and we hope that Allah grants us this blessing until the end and beyond. So as we say in the dua, رَبَّنَا أَفْرِغْ عَلَيْنَا صَبْرًا وَتَوَفَّنَا مُسْلِمِينَ. O Allah, pour patience upon us and make us to pass away in such a state that we are Muslims, people who submit to Allah. So death is going to happen to each and every one of us. Nobody can deny it. Nobody can turn it back. كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. Every soul is going to taste death. And we're also encouraged to consider ourselves dead already. We should already think of ourselves as being people of the grave. Because there are people of the grave today who just a few days ago, they didn't consider themselves people of the grave, but now they are people of the grave. So we don't know. Is tonight going to be your first night in the grave as a dead person? We don't know. It could very well be. And if somebody came in and asked you the question, do you know for sure that you're going to live to see Maghrib, to see the sunset? You can honestly you cannot say yes. If you say yes, you're lying. Because nobody can answer that question. Yes, I know for sure that I'm going to live until Maghrib, until sunset. Nobody knows that. And so we have to get ready and we have to prepare. We have to get things ready as soon as we can, meaning starting now. So if there's some bad deed that you feel bad about, then have in your heart that you feel bad about it and, oh Allah, forgive me. And if there's some bad deed that you don't feel bad about, ask Allah to make you feel bad about it and then to forgive you. And if there's some good deed that you really have to do it. Don't put it off. Do it now. Do it as soon as you can. And make istighfar. Again, why did we come to Jumu'ah? One of the many reasons is so that we can be forgiven. We seek Allah's forgiveness. Why do we make salah? So that we can be forgiven, to seek Allah's forgiveness. Because we don't want to be like the wicked soul. We want to be like the good soul. If a person does a whole lifetime full of sins, but then that person turns around and does good, and then dies, that person has no worries in the next life. Even though they might have done years and years of sins, but they just did a few moments of good, that Allah will write that person as good. But if a person did years and years and years of evil, and then does a moment of, or someone does years and years of good, but then, and they were good their whole life, but then they do a moment of evil, and they die at that moment, they're written up as evil. And so, don't think that we're safe just because we're Muslims or sitting here in Jummah. We have to keep trying. We have to have istiqamah. We have to be steadfast on this. And may Allah grant us the steadfastness. And may Allah make us to be of those who are protected from the Jahannam and from all of the trials of the grave and all of the scary things of the Day of Judgment. And may Allah make us those who are honored in the next life, in every stage of the next life, including Jannat al-Firdaus al-A'la. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وتوفنا مسلمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أقيموا الصلاة.